Divine rise. Divine rise. Blessed be to your day. May be everything you require to create everything you desire. On this beautiful moon day. On this beautiful moon day. Or the day of investment. Or the day of that needed investment. That day of that needed assessment. You should have already done all your assessing. You should be moving to see your plans of what you're trying to do for the day. Fear of the flow. Wanted to get into that fear of that flow. I want you to imagine letting go of you. I want you to imagine letting go of you. Like seriously, I want you to imagine letting go of you. As I go here, playing all this good stuff. I want you to imagine letting go of you. Just think about it. I want you to imagine letting go of you. I want you to imagine letting go of you. Like, for real. I want you to imagine letting go of you. The you. I want you to imagine letting go of you. I want you to imagine that. I want you to synthesize that and put that into your mind. I want you to imagine literally letting go of you. Could you, in reality with yourself, let go of you? Could you let go of you? What I mean by this is, can you let go of instant gratification? Can you let go of instant gratification? Could you handle being in a position where the work is so in depth? The work is so in depth that it can't be validated by anything external. Could you imagine and visualize letting go of you? Letting go of that instant gratification. Could you imagine letting go? Could you visualize letting go of instant gratification? A lot of times we're inside of a space. I noticed for myself that a lot of the reasons that I stayed in a space for so long, or I stayed at a job, or I stayed in a relationship, or I stayed in a friendship, or I stayed in a situation, was from, in the beginning, there was an instant gratification. The only reason I did a lot of my stuff, even though I was doing it to better, even though I was doing it to develop and better myself in a certain situation, my true point of me staying in that space was instant gratification. Whether it was at the job and they tell me good job, or they tell me good job, they give me some time off, or they give me whatever I wanted. In a relationship, I was getting everything that I wanted. Friendships, I was getting everything that I wanted. And then on the other side of that, I wasn't getting what I wanted, but I wasn't getting what I needed. Remember, comfort is reaction. We've been getting into this the last couple of weeks. Comfort is reaction. So as long as I can react to it, it's showing me it's showing me my comfort zone. So whether it's something negative or positive going on in the space, me reacting to it, it's showing me my comfort zone. It's showing me the weak point in myself, in my magnetosphere, for me to step out. That's why when you think about it, think about this. Whenever you're inside of a situation and it drives you to argue, it drives you to be upset, it drives you to step out of yourself. This character that you've been maintaining, the you that you've been maintaining. And you let your shadow clone come up to the surface and do the work. You ain't gonna play me. You ain't gonna make me feel any type of way. Do. You go down the line. But what did you learn from that space? What did you learn? You had a whole argument. You yelled. You voiced your opinion. You stomped out. Whatever you did in that space, what did you learn? That's the question we got to ask ourselves. What did you learn? You learned not just on the surface. I learned, motherfuckers, I can't trust people. I learned that I can't believe in people. I learned that I can't put my all into people. Here's the question. You shouldn't be putting no more than 50% of yourself into anything. Period. Remember, I've broken this down before. The 70-30. I've broken down the 70-30 clause, where it's that 70% is in your space and that 30% is whatever matriculates into a space. So 70% in the higher part of the fraction, in 70 over 30, that's the division. So you know what to separate, you're gonna automatically separate from. So take the thought process of 70%. That means 40% is empowering. 40% is my thought process, my mindset, where I'm at, my emotions, understanding my emotions, understanding my energy. And 30% is the intention I set within that 40%. That's the 70%. That's how I start my manifestation. Down here, when it comes into the physical realm, it's only a 30%. That's give or take 15% into my energy and 15% into my response. The problem is, for some of us, when we're stuck in this old mindset of letting go of the you, Yep. The problem is, a lot of times, that 70% is down here in the 30% place. That 70% of your energy is in this 30% of your space. And you're only putting 30% up here. I can't put 70 into 30 into a spot that's meant for 30% of my energy. It'll always be distorted. This is what happened when you weighed down by those traumatic events. This is when you're weighed down by the impurities inside of your shadow, the things that you don't deal with. That's why you down here in the first place. That's why you down here to learn that shit in the first place. To learn how to get into that flow by releasing yourself of these aspects that have your soul looking like they're fractured and you broken and you weak and you in that space and you ain't doing, you know you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. But you keep telling yourself, nah, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do this first, then that'll happen. That gotta be done first. That's why it keeps popping up. You ever thought about it? That's why it keeps popping up. The lesson's gonna continue to pop up until you deal with it. You can put it off. You can imagine a life without it. You can wait. You can go ahead and wait. But that's just going to fill up that space in that 70% down here. A lot of times we spend 70% of our time in our emotions. You spend 70% of your day in your emotions. You wake up 70% of the time filling in the identity based in your emotions. Anger, whatever it is, anger, sorrow, doubt, insecurity, jealousy, whatever it is, to create that identity. You'll spend that much time in that, and what we get into this week in the God Hour podcast, we'll get into those paranoid whispers. You gave all of those voices. So ask yourself, what's in a name? You know, names have power. So what did you name your mistake? What did you name your insecurity? What did you name, or rather, what is the name of your insecurity? What is the name of your self-worth? What is the name of your value? What name are you giving it? What characteristics does that name have that you gave it? Whether it's a person, place, thing, thought, idea, whatever it may be inside of your space. What did you give it the name to? That's how we operate in the fear of letting ourselves go. We got to understand that. I had to understand that in order for me to take authority over my life, I had to take responsibility. Responsibility is uncomfortable. Accountability is uncomfortable. Responsibility, uncomfortable as hell. Accountability, uncomfortable as hell. It's not inside your comfort zone. So now we have to think about the good. Remember this good and the bad aspect, going to the positive and negative. I'm maintaining my comfort zone inside of my space because my comforts are based on reaction. So if I wake up every day to go to work, do my work, whether it's negative or good, I have a good day or bad day, whatever, that's still in my comfort zone. And then I'll create everything else around that to deal with that one aspect. But you're just creating the different illusions and the different layers to maintain that identity, to become weaker and weaker. Or you saying that you're becoming stronger and stronger, but the key is to become weaker and weaker. I had to learn that everything that you do you're supposed to get weaker first. Whether you're going, like, use the example of me going to the gym. I knew in going to the gym, in order for me to build up, I knew I had to break down first. I had to allow my body to break down. I had to allow my muscles to tear. I had to allow myself to throw up after a circuit. I had to do these things to learn how to navigate within that space, that low point, to build myself back up. But it does me no good to go to the gym, for example, does me no good to go to the gym if I'm not embracing my energy, because I'm only using it to maintain that one flow of energy, that one conduit. That means I go to the gym, and if I'm in a bad mood when I go to the gym, I release that dopamine. That means I got to stay mad to get that level of dopamine. That means my muscles are going to be angry. That means I'm going to naturally be reflected in the aspects of, okay, now I'm big enough or I'm strong enough to go be very combative. Not conflict resolution, but be very combative. I'm going to sit here in my space a lot of the times. A lot of the times I'm going to sit in that space and I'm only going to do it based on the instant gratification or the result. That instant gratification. That means the moment that somebody says something to me about me going to the gym, why are you going to the gym all the time? Damn, you go to the gym a lot. Whatever you going into that space, you wanted that reaction because you learned that instant gratification. Oh, they care. Oh, they care. But where did you learn that from? You looking at that negative as it's, ooh, that made me feel good. No, it didn't. I'm going to let you know now, it didn't make you feel good. It gave you a false sense of security based on your insecurity. It gave you a false sense of acceptance based on your rejection. It gave you a false sense of potential, a false sense of giving that identity a purpose. But you got to stay inside that space. That's constricting as fuck. That's why after a while, after you do it, you stop doing it after a while. You stop doing your meditation. You stop eating you stop eating the way you were eating. You stop listening to yourself. You stop writing down your thoughts. You stop learning how to respond. Now your intentions are being set in the old thought process. Remember, it's all about bringing that shadow to the present. You start listening to those old whispers again. You start listening to that whisper that's based on one of your emotional voids. You start looking at one of those whispers that's based on one of your emotional voids. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You addicted to that whisper, that paranoid whisper. And that's what we get into this week on the God Hour podcast. We're going to get into that paranoid whisper. And this Friday, we don't get into that isolated comfort. But I want to keep, do you fear the flow? Or do you like dripping into positions? You like dripping your energy into spaces? Like a little drip, like the IV drip. Imagine if you took away the limiter. Friday, we got into that delivery system. Imagine if you took away the delivery system or the middleman or the middle woman or the middle aspect, and you went directly to the source. That's what it is to bring your shadow into the present. That's what it is to bring you into the now. See, a lot of times that instant gratification got our minds you got you all in the future. It got you all in the future. That instant gratification, that's why whenever you don't get the response that you want, you go so quickly back to the past. Because you ain't made no balance right here in the present. It's okay to go look into the future. It's okay to go look into the past. It's okay to go peek in there a little bit to see where you at. But to live in the future, to live in the past, everything that you're going to look at based in the future, you're going to be looking for progress without the plan. That instant gratification got you looking into the future without a plan. The only thing that can create that space is what you already been doing. That's why when it don't work, you feel some type of way. I remember feeling some type of way all the fucking time. Every time something didn't go the way I wanted it to. But then I had to realize I'm acting like a spoiled brat. Huh, it's my inner child again. It's little Carlos acting up. It's little Deonis acting up. It's little Deonis acting out. It's little Carlos acting out. That's who was dictating my life. No discipline, no sense of plan, only using the imprints to keep my current present situation or the middle point where it was. Whether it's the job, like right now, y'all noticing that jobs is falling off. They forcing y'all to go get that jab. Motherfuckers that done the work like, all right, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. Relationships not going the way you thought they were supposed to be going. Okay. All it's showing you is your true self. So what are you doing? You fear the flow? You fear letting go of you? I lost myself. No, you didn't. Here's the thing about losing yourself in your job, losing yourself in your work, losing yourself in friendships, losing yourself in whatever emotional void. You don't lose yourself. In that space, you are finding yourself. I'm here to let you know that now. In that space, you are finding yourself. That's what's scary. That anger that pops up when you get real angry or you get real sad or you get real emotional, you finding yourself. Remember, the trigger forces you to be emotionally present. The trigger forces you to be emotionally present. Your neglect wound, your childhood wounds force you to stay in emotional relevance, only relating to that wound. Therefore, you can't go into a space not unless you got the counterbalance to that wound. I was angry all the time. I deserve happiness. So now everything in my space got to make me happy. But if everything in your space making you happy, I can guarantee you are emotionally broke. Because it take a lot of energy to project happiness. Look at Robin Williams. Look at all the actors that were projecting their happiness but were dead inside. It take a lot of energy to project happiness because happiness is a higher frequency. It take a lot of energy to project peace. That's why a bunch of your shit be distorted in your space. It take a lot of energy to tap into to stay in your enlightened state. That's why you need a bunch of arguments to your basis to keep you in that current state. That's why you always see them niggas. That's why you always saw them niggas debating. You gotta let go of that control. That's why you always saw a bunch of niggas always debating and shit. That's why you always see the niggas debating. Because they need that energy. That's why you see motherfuckers, I just need somebody to handle me. Because they need that negative balance. They need that negative reaction to keep them in to keep that positive light or that positive cycling of that identity in play. Whether they're doing some shit that you don't like or they're doing some shit that you do like. It's only going to be maintained because it gives you, you'll keep reacting to it. It's all in the reaction. It don't matter what they do. It's all in your reaction. As long as you react, they think that that's why you go. I remember being in certain spaces, and as long as somebody reacted to me, I thought they cared. Because that's what I learned from my childhood. That's what I learned from my childhood. That's what I learned from my past lives. The power of that reaction. So if my mom do something or get really, really quiet, and then my pops would respond in that sense, he would respond or react to her being silent, then she felt like she was cared for. Same thing with us. Because that's what she learned. And then I carried that on. You just carrying on the damn wound until you assess it. On Friday, when we got into that emotional red tape, we talked about it's going deeper than saying to the point of reaction to say that it's your mom's fault. It's going deeper than the reaction of saying it was my mom's fault. It was my dad's fault. It was my uncle's fault. It was my neighbor's fault. It was this person's fault. It's going past that reaction. It's going past and into that actual anger. Because that is the block that you're going to use to maintain that anger, to maintain that fear. As long as that is there. So now in every relationship, every relationship, friendship, job that has male authority, and you have wounds based on the maternal and the fraternal aspect or the masculine aspect, you're going to have a threat towards, you're going to be threatened by anything telling you anything that you need to hear. You're going to be triggered. You're going to be triggered by anything that's going to hit you based in the maternal sense. If you've never had a sense of guidance, wisdom, nurturing. So you're not going to be used to something nurturing you because you're afraid to flow past that you that you're trying to maintain. If I let go of this, then what else happens? If I let go of this, if I let go of this emotional downtrap, what happens next? If I let go of what they still, it don't matter what they did, it's how it bothered you. What did you learn? I can't learn by holding on to it. I've talked about this before. One second. I've talked about this before in the sense of that mask. I've talked about it before in the sense of this mask. I can't see this mask until I look and take it off and look at the mask. Damn, this mask got a smile on it. I'm not smiling. Damn, this mask got some smudges on it. I don't have no smudges on me. I gotta look at the mask. I gotta take it off. In order for me to analyze it, I really gotta take that shit off. Or else I'm gonna keep creating replicas of that mask. Now I'm in relationships looking for something to fit this mask. Now I'm at the job looking for attachments to fit that mask. It's time to let go of that mask. Let go of that control. Your power is not found in control, it's found in the authority. Your power is not found in control. It is found in your authority. You can have control of the entire external aspect of your life. Have control of it all you want. But guess what? Chaos got to cycle back around. And that's why that shit start falling apart. You lose your damn mind. I'm losing control. I feel powerless. I know, because I've done that shit. That's why I can say it in that tone. I'm losing control. I don't have any power. I don't have an identity. What am I without it? But in reality, my power is in my authority. The authority over my own chaos. The authority of me facing what I need to face. Knowing I need to do that work. Knowing I need to sit. Knowing when I need to sit down. Knowing when I need to sit down. Knowing when I need to learn. Knowing that I gotta be. Knowing that I'm going into a space based on learning myself. And knowing that that humbles you in its own self. Your humility, I've said this before, your humility, your integrity, are only found in the darkness. The only way you get into that darkness is by going into your true sense of vulnerability. But to get into that vulnerability, you got to take that accountability and responsibility for yourself. It's not about fault. It's not about right. It's not about wrong. It's not about winning. It's not about losing. It's about me accepting to the core of me to understand myself. The position that you in now is the exact position you need to be in. Stop running from it. You can run from it. You can delay it. But it's time to sit in that. You talking about, I want to be abundant and prosperous. In what? And why? Because if I get a little bit more money, then I can actually do some things. No, you won't. That's like remember, that's like going back in the day when you were like, Lord, if you help me out this one time with my rent, or you help me out this one time with the relationship or whatever's going on in my life, I'll give up smoking. I'll give up drinking. I'll give up women on the weekends. I won't cheat no more. And you give up this whole bunch of conditions. You give up this whole damn bunch of conditions to try to stay within the space, to maintain their identity. The universe don't see you for what the fuck you think you are, where you want to be at. It sees you for where you at. It gives to where you at. It gives to your truth. It gives to your truth. My truth is found in my responsibilities, my accountability, leading into that vulnerability, going into the sense of my integrities, and me finding my humility. That's the only way that I can grow. That's the only way that I can embrace that power. So I asked that question to you. This week in the God Hour podcast. This week in the God Hour podcast. We don't get into that paranoid whisper. You gave your fears a voice. It's time to discover those voices, sit with those voices, give the conversation and give them the new standard terms and move forward. It's time for you to stop allowing those voices to mimic your happiness. It's time to stop letting those voices create those images. And that's what we're going to get into this week in the God Hour podcast. New episodes every Tuesday, 6 a.m. I drop it at 6 a.m. every Tuesday. So y'all stay tuned for more information on that. All throughout the week, we're going to keep getting deeper into this. Godico Alchemist, my YouTube channel. We getting into that. What did I say it was? That isolated comfort. We'll get into isolated comfort on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you didn't tune in already, Godico Alchemist, the YouTube channel. Last week, we got into that emotional red tape or that red tape revolver. It's up now. Go ahead and catch that replay. I desire you to be the fucking best. Whether you're just starting your work or you've been in your work, it's time to go deeper. It's time to get that space open. If you're ready for that, or you need that assistance, everything from readings, the consultation, seeing where you at, see what we can do, see what's next on the table, hit me up in the inbox. I desire you to be the fucking best. It's time to let go of the you've been trying to maintain all these times. You got multiple yous, multiple I's. That means if I got multiple me's, that means I got multiple I's, that means I got multiple is and multiple voices trying to find their way to the surface. Instead of trying to fight them coming to the surface, it's time to get into that space to allow them to come to the surface. It's time to have that round table. I desire you to be the fucking best. I see y'all throughout the week. If you're ready, go ahead and tap in. I love you. We love us. Ashe.